Welcome to FOXSOUL's Black Report. This is the place where we bring you the headlines and the latest in black news, views, and opinions. I'm Romeo.
Hey there, I'm Brooke. Oh, we are having trouble hearing our team there. On today's show, Maryland's governor signs a bill sending millions to HBCUs. Starbucks says sorry. We're going to update you on the teenage boy who was assaulted and accused of stealing a cell phone at a hotel in New York. And another day, another video of someone yelling racist slurs at a black person over a mask mandate.
New York lawmakers reach a deal to legalize marijuana. A man was arrested while carrying guns and wearing body armor while entering into a Georgia Publix. Virginia becomes the first state to abolish the death penalty, and we continue our celebration of Women's History Month.
Tennessee lawmakers advance a bill to make the Bible the state's official book. Unemployment claims dip. Women make NBA history, and find out why Cinnamon Toast Crunch is trending.
All right, we have all that and so much more. So if you're ready, it's our voice and our truth. Let's get it.
To me, this reeks of conflict of interest.
Do we know if he actually waved a gun? We only hear one side of the story.
This just really did make me feel good that the justice system did what they needed to do.
We're going to keep following this story, and we will have the latest for you. Here are your headlines for the day. We have an update to a story we first told you about right here on FOXSOUL's Black Report. Maryland's Governor Larry Hogan has signed a bill that will send $577 million in funding to HBCUs. As the Baltimore Sun reports, Hogan had previously said $200 million was sufficient to settle a lawsuit involving the state's historically black universities. This is almost triple that amount, and the action marks the beginning of the end of a 15-year legal battle. Alumni and boosters of the universities had challenged the state's treatment of the schools in federal court. They alleged that historically black schools were put at a disadvantage compared to predominantly white institutions. The law will lead to a settlement of that lawsuit and guarantee $577 million in additional funding for the schools over the course of a decade. So let me talk a little bit about those schools. So the schools are Bowie State, Coppin State, Morgan State, and the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Here's a little bit more on the lawsuit, because I want to just go into a little more detail. So it started back in 2006, right? And the allegations weren't just that the state had underfunded the institutions while developing programs at traditionally white schools. A big point of it was that those white schools directly competed with and drained prospects away from HBCUs. Right. And so in 2013, a federal judge found that the state had maintained, and this is a quote, a dual and segregated education system that violated the Constitution. A reminder, 2013. If this settlement becomes law, the money's going to be used for scholarships, financial aid, support services, as well as faculty recruitment and development. It could also be used, I checked out CBS Baltimore. Their reporting could also be used to expand and improve existing academic programs, including online programs, as well as the development and implementation of new academic programs. So basically, this money is an effort to, compete better.
Yeah, which is definitely needed. And if you think about it, the money should start rolling out in 2023. We're talking about Morgan State could be getting $24 million a year. Bowie State, $16.8 million. Maryland Eastern Shore, $9.7 million. And Coppin State University, $9 million. So the money's going to come out. And I just feel like the floodgates have opened up where HBCUs is finally getting their due all across the board.
Absolutely. Well, you know what it sounded like to me, Brooke, because I was reading that too about them directly competing. It sounded like these predominantly white institutions and colleges, they wanted to make HBCUs non-existent. And so this is great. Again, when we started talking about this story before, I'm happy that the man that took this on 15 years, I'm happy that he stuck with it and saw it all the way through to the end, because they didn't want HBCUs to be a thing. And I'm happy that they're getting more money than they have ever gotten before.
That's true. It's wonderful to see the playing field at least, being attempted to be leveled at this point. Starbucks has issued an apology after a black man claimed he was discriminated against at one of the chain's California locations, according to ABC7. Bryce Ward, a San Francisco barber, took to Instagram to share his experience at a San Jose Starbucks location, during which he claims he was singled out likely because of his race.
And I walked in, ordered my drink. The cashier politely, asked me if I could wait outside the store because they were at capacity. That's cool. We're in a pandemic. For the last year, we all know how to adhere to capacity and different rules and procedures going on with stores, whether it's Target, Costco, the bank, whatever the case may be. So that's fine. I wasn't mad at that. That's fine. He's asked me if I could wait outside. I said, cool. I was on my way outside, and 2 women walked out before I even hit the door. So in my mind, my common sense is telling me you guys are not at capacity anymore. If you were at capacity, 2 women walked out, you're not at capacity anymore. So I stayed in the store. All right. About 2 minutes later, the manager yells at me from across the room and says, hey, I need you to step outside. I say, for what? She said, because we're at capacity. I say, no, you were at capacity. Then these 2 women walked out. And now you're not at capacity anymore, so stop asking me to go outside. I won't go outside. I'll wait inside with the other 15 or 17 people, however many were in there. I'll wait inside with them. So one of her workers, quickly told me, hey, don't worry about it. You're good. I said, yeah, I know I'm good. So we left it at that. About 2 minutes, approximately 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, there's people coming in and out of the store. There's customers coming in. There's customers walking out. There's customers coming in getting their mobile order. There's customers going out with their mobile order. And then a lady walks in. And when this lady walks in, she gets in line. And when this happens, the manager walks from behind the counter past the lady, don't say nothing to her. And she comes straight to me, points to the door and say, I need you to go outside. So at this point, I'm like, man, for what? For what? Why are you coming at me? Why do I gotta go outside? All these people in here, you just walk right past this lady. You ain't say nothing to this lady. You ain't say a single word to her. Why are you so adamant about me?
Starbucks issued an apology to Ward in the wake of backlash surrounding the incident. We have no tolerance for discrimination of any kind in our stores, and we never want a customer to feel discriminated against, a spokesperson for the mega coffee chain told the news outlet. Yeah, that's not true. Starbucks, as we know, has been around since 1971. It's a chain that was started in Seattle, and it went from 140 outlets in 1992 to over 2,400 outlets in 1999. It's grown exponentially since, but they have a disgusting track record with racial discrimination involving not just patrons, but also their employees. And it's always a series of apologies. I mean, like the CEO, Howard Schultz, he issued an apology when, in 2015, when they started this campaign called Race Together, which was mocked by everybody because it was extremely tone deaf. We also know about the case in 2018 where 2 black men were arrested at a Philadelphia Starbucks for doing absolutely nothing. And so that drew the ire of everybody. Starbucks shut down all of their 8,000 locations in order to do racial sensitivity training. And it seems like it hasn't worked. It seems like Starbucks really, this is just a chain that people of color should avoid.
I am sorry, but I just honestly feel like it's totally unfair to, as a black person, okay, to totally just say everybody that works at Starbucks is racist. I go to Starbucks all the time. At Starbucks, every single location is a Starbucks on every other block. I feel like it's so unfair to say that Starbucks as a whole has racist employees when there's 1,000,001 Starbucks across the world, and not every single Starbucks is racist. Not just because we know that. I feel like these are isolated incidents that happen to be at Starbucks. Also, I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a hard case to prove because he made these Facebook, posts, but he also said, I'm not saying that she haunted me down because I'm black. I'm just stating the facts, so I don't want this to happen to someone else. I feel like also just a little bit of the story, there's some inconsistency, and I would have preferred to just get a lawyer, fight the case that you need to do. The Instagram post didn't help. I feel like it just didn't help. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want us to just make it seem like go on a ban to not go to Starbucks, like, because there are so many other restaurants and places that, are probably racist too. Like, we can't just, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I just have a question for you all because, I always say words matter. And so I'm curious where you stand on this because part of the apology, and a lot of typical corporate apologies say, hey, we have a zero tolerance for this.
Yeah.
Does that phrase mean, do you think in this instance that phrase means zero tolerance? And what does zero tolerance mean to you? Because for a lot of people I see online, that's never enough for them. They feel like zero tolerance would mean these people don't work here anymore.
Right.
That, there is no, apology and we can come back from this. That's some tolerance.
Right.
Zero, that's what, and so I'm curious, does that work for you? Do you feel like those words don't match up? How do you feel when companies say zero tolerance?
They don't add up at all for me.
No?
I feel, no, because, and you talk about there's one bad apple. They've had several bad apples if you think about that. And then if you watch the entire video, I think there was an employee that said, no, you're good. You can stay in here. So how is one of the regular employees going to know better and say you're fine being in here, but the manager still is being so persistent towards him, marking him out? That's a direct hit. And that's a problem for me.
Yeah, and zero tolerance, really honestly, that's a phrase that's just lip service to me, in all honesty. I mean, exactly what you said, Brooke. If there is zero tolerance, then when an incident happens and the employee who committed said incident is fired, it's got to be a punishable offense. There's got to be consequences for the actions that they consider to be, intolerant.
That's true, because they make a lot of money. They make a lot of money.
That part.
Yeah.
It's also COVID. Okay, moving right along. Keon Harold Jr., you might remember, he's the black teenager who was attacked at a New York City hotel after a woman falsely accused him of stealing her cell phone. Well, his parents filed a lawsuit Wednesday over the incident. The suit was filed in state court in Manhattan against Mia Ponsetto, the Arlo Soho Hotel, and a hotel manager. Ponsetto, who lives in California, was charged with attempted robbery, grand larceny, acting in a manner injurious to a child, and 2 counts of attempted assault, NBC New York reported. Ponsetto's next hearing is scheduled for Monday. Here's one, a totally different instance in my case. I feel like we have video. There's proof. You can see exactly what happened. Everybody saw the video, but a lot of people online, of course, feel like this is great that she's going to be, punished, hopefully to the full extent. But then a lot of people feel like the father suing the hotel was going too far. So Ben Crump, he hopped on Twitter and he cleared that up. He said Arlo Hotels perpetuated a system of bigotry by demanding Keon Harold Jr. to give up his phone to prove his innocence against false allegations. He says, how many times do we hear the excuse she was just having a bad day before corporations stop empowering racism? So for a lot of people that feel like, I don't know, suing the hotel might have went too far. Ben Crump wanted to clear up why they did that.
One of the big questions there for me is what happened to the manager, because I feel like what he did was out of order, and thank God that his dad was there. So imagine, I think about my son maybe hanging out with some of his friends when he gets older and no daughter's there and this happens. How should they handle that situation? If they continue to try and walk away, are they going to call the police? Then it turns to a whole different issue that it was never an issue to begin with.
Yeah, the manager's included in the lawsuit. And in all honesty, I hope that this lawsuit, I hope they get sued into submission, because that was disgusting, what that woman did to that child, basically.
Yeah.
And she made it worse for herself. The Gayle King interview made it so much worse for her entire case if she tried to have one.
And she was acting like a child to the whole situation.
Absolutely.
All right, a new video shows a woman yell a racial slur at a black New York City bakery employee who reportedly told her she couldn't be served if she wasn't wearing a mask.
Can't wear a mask, sir.
Why can't you wear a mask?
She said she got medical problem. You don't have to serve her if you don't want to.
Why? Is it a regular person? You just gotta tell me why.
I'm not even, you can't even see how I'm looking at you, sir. I have sunglasses on. You can't even see how I'm looking at you. I have sunglasses on.
The other than guess?
You just said, don't look at you like that. How do you see how I'm looking at you?
Excuse me, can you just serve her? If you don't want to
I
serve
just
her, let
want to
you go.
order some bagels.
If you want to serve her, serve her. If not, let you go.
Take her out.
Okay, so, ma'am, hello, ma'am. He's not going to serve her, so please leave.
Why? Because he's a just.
No, excuse me.
Oh, that's what he is.
Hello. Now you need to go.
That's what he is.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am, you
I
need
just
to
said
go.
it. You heard it.
Let me call the cop because this lady been very disruptive now.
It doesn't affect
No,
me that you're not going to serve me because you're a
Are you just calling my That's what you just said?
I can call him whatever I want.
Wow. The woman, who was not been identified, was attempting to order from Davidovich Bakery inside the Essex Market Food Hall on the Lower East Side, according to NBC New York, which reported the incident took place Sunday. She was pushing a child in a stroller and appeared to have other children with her. A bakery worker behind the counter first told the woman she would not be served if she did not put on a mask, the video showed. When she did not comply, a security guard stepped in with a similar warning. The New York City Police Department said it took a report of the incident, NBC New York reported. See, this is what we're talking about, generations of hate and racism, because she's so comfortable doing this out in public to this man's face. and she has all those. What is it saying to her kids? What are they talking about in their homes? What are they talking about amongst each other? What are you teaching? And this is the problem where we try to get away from it, but it still seems to hang around because of situations like this.
And, you know, speaking of those kids, you know, we're not saying her name here legally, you know, but she's been identified online. They found her quickly, and she got a lot of social media accounts, she's MAGA. Lots of social media accounts. And in one of them, she says, you know, I can't be racist because my kids' fathers are all black. And I noticed that. I don't want us to show the video again because I don't want us to put those children's faces on blast. But just thinking about the power that word has and the pain that that word comes with, and thinking about not only did the person who's just trying to do his job. I thought what happened to we loved first responders and essential workers, frontline workers, excuse me, not first responders, frontline workers. What happened to that? But also, those children also seemingly feel the pain of that word.
Absolutely.
And think about, I don't want to show the video again if that's okay, but just, that just upset me because you think there are 4 little kids that go home and they're feeling the pain of that word too.
Absolutely.
She's graduated to saying that she's black. It was, you know, she's shut down her media, you know, social media accounts, restarted them. She never put them on private because the comment section was lit. But she basically says in her last post that she's black, and she posted a snapshot of Ancestry.com that says that she's 39% Nigerian, which is the highest percentage of all the ethnic groups listed. And so she basically is saying that I have permission to use the word because I am black. And no.
Right. I thought she was joking about that post. Like I thought it was like that was like a
I thought she was joking.
Image.
I was hoping she was joking when she said what she said.
Yeah.
She didn't even open her mouth and
No,
said that.
this lady is absolutely insane. Of course, we won't say her name, but like Brooke said, she has been identified online. I mean, she has so many incidents. She reminds me of one of those people that she wants to be in the news. Like she's been on, she's gone viral. We just didn't know her name, but she's gone viral a few times before, like with a MAGA hat on and saying things like, how can I be, like you said, how can I, when I have kids, she told one lady, you guys, she said, if you're into Black Lives Matter, how come you aren't having sex with black men? Like, so she feels empowered that she has children by a black dad. On top of the fact, I just want to commend the worker that was there because he is a black man. He stood his ground. He didn't want to get fired that day or go to jail. And so I just want to give him a shout out here. I don't know if he's watching FOXSOUL's Black Report, but you did a great job, young man, because honestly, and you know, everybody says what they would have done, but honestly, he didn't want to lose his job. He stand firm. He didn't want to go to jail. So I just want to give him a shout out today because that was just really brave of him because I feel like I would have lost it.
Yeah, and because even before that, the request to put on a mask was in an effort to protect all those people in line behind her, as well as him and his other coworkers.
Yeah, the person that reported it was, everybody said it was just super shocking. So we'll definitely be following up on that story because that was a mess.